People, deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. Now, my Arsenal fans, we might not be playing this weekend. It is the international break, but that doesn't mean the news, rumors, views, and talking points don't persist. Now, let's get straight into it. Allegedly, Tomiyasu has signed a new deal. You've got the gyokeres sort of business, and let's just go over everything that concerns our football club. If you give me a moment, I can share my screen and we can get exactly into such people. Don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't and comment your thoughts throughout this video, either in the comment section after. Appreciative to those of you watching this on the replay, and obviously when this premieres, people. Again, we're finally getting some motion. You lot have been supporting the content heavy, and we're ticking over and we're flirting with 60,000 subs. The goal for the end of the year is 70,000. I can't do it without you lot. As you can see in front of me, Takahiro Tomiyasu signs new long-term contract. Allegedly, it is until 2026 with the option of another year. Now, where you look at Tomiyasu, he's, of the prime age where it's now time to really hit your peak. I do wonder, though, why is it essentially a 2-year deal with an option of a third, which, again, 18 months from now, you're probably going to have to give Tomiyasu a new deal. I love him. He's consistent. He's adaptable. He's versatile. Whether he's a first team on the team sheet, kind of guy, or he's in the squad, he's somebody that, you want in the team. He's probably our best 1v1 defender, in my opinion. I know Gabriel could have laid claim to that, and maybe Saliba. The only slight you can knock on Tomiyasu is injuries. Where you think of Arsenal injuries, unfortunately, Tomiyasu and Partey are probably the poster boys. And maybe that's why I'm not saying we're getting rid of Tomiyasu, but a bit like Aaron Ramsdale, not drawing correlations, but he signed a new deal essentially until 2026 with the option of a third-year deal. Is that because in the meantime, he might be phased out one day? You never know what Mikel Arteta is planning. I mean, if it isn't that, and I'm just being devil's advocate, then, if he signed essentially a 2-year deal with an option of a third, 18 months from now, he's probably in a position to get an extended deal. Since the man joined from Bologna in August 2021, he's been a revelation. And if it wasn't for injuries, he would have more than 73 appearances for this football club. And I'm quite upset at the point of when Tomiyasu actually got his injury at the, in the early parts of the season, or around when he got his first little knock, and not these ones of recent, is because he's never going to be as Zinchenko in the final third. Zinchenko's never going to be as great defensively as him. But I think he was looking a lot more confident in the attacking phase of play in that inverted role. And obviously, Tomiyasu, he's got a high technical level. He's a professional footballer. But within the Arsenal squad, he's quite conservative. He's not the most eye-catching of player and things. But I think people don't give him his credit because he can use both feet. He can play on the left, play on the right. He's obviously got good height. Indirectly, that means he's an option for centre-half. And I can't talk up Tomiyasu's praise enough, man. At 25 years of age, all I can say is keep doing what you're doing and go on to higher heights. And we hope you stay fit, man. I got a lot of love for Tomiyasu, man, really and truly. Edu has said, we are very excited to have Tommy with us for more years to come. He has huge qualities both on and off the pitch and offers us so much strength and versatility to our squad. Tommy is a top professional, and it's great that he'll continue to play an important role in the coming years as we work towards achieving our goals. Don't think anyone can disagree with what Edu said there. And big up the football club, because in the last 18 months, Saliba, Ramsdale, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Benjamin White now, Tomiyasu, young Ethan Nwaneri, and the list goes on. We've been dealing with the business where contracts are concerned, and we haven't really had one of those kind of crazy seasons where, you look at when Aubameyang signed his deal, Saka's first kind of one, Alexis Sanchez and Ozil. City have won everything, and they had that with Gundogan, so you're never going to get away with that. But it's just refreshing that that's another aspect that the club is just getting spot on off the field. Obviously, on the field, we're doing what we need to do. The manager has said, we are so pleased to have Tommy commit his future with us. Together with his natural ability and strength, Tommy's attitude, mentality, and values are first class. Tomiyasu is loved by everyone and has been an integral part of the squad since joining us. The way he trains with his desire and determination to be the best version of himself every day is admirable. We look forward to continuing working with Tommy in the future years. Big him up, man. I describe him as a Japanese Swiss Army knife, and I think his football reflects that. So shout out to Tomiyasu on the new contract. The man himself has spoken, people. He said, I think we have improved a lot, because when I joined, we were not playing in the European competition, but now we are playing in the Champions League. We're in the title race. I don't look at the league table, Tommy, but I take your word for it. Hopefully, I am better than before. I am still learning a lot of things from Mikel and my teammates. I still have the capacity to improve, so I'll try to be a better player and also a better person as well. what can you say, man? He's a lovely guy. Someone you want to buy a pint or 10 for, man. He's a cool dude. We have so many great players. I'm playing as a fullback at Arsenal, but when I'm playing with the national team, I'm at centre half. So I'm learning from Arsenal defenders. They're so good. There's big competition between the players, but it's a good environment to be a better player. So I'm happy to be here. I'm not young anymore. When you're playing at Arsenal, we've got a lot of young players, and I'm getting older. I want to achieve something with my teammates and supporters. Great stuff. And where you look at, sorry, I even forgot Gabriel. I know Ramsdale's been alienated, is not the right word, but he's been alienated and upgraded upon with David Raya. I'm happy that, they say defense wins titles. And I think last season, we were obviously great in an attacking sense and we improved defensively, but was probably quite naive, and we've still got those naiveties. This season, we're not quite playing that exciting football per se as last season, but I think there's elements of that, and obviously we're a very good football inside, and defensively, the whole team's mentality from our strikers to our defenders has improved, but defense wins titles, and as we know, football, you're never going to hold on to these players for a gazillion years. You never know what Mikel Arteta is planning. You look at Tierney, Ramsdale, people that you thought were going to be first names on the team sheet for years to come. Arteta's got different plans, but it is refreshing to see. I would say Ramsdale, obviously Ramsdale's a bit different, but at the point of Ramsdale signing a new deal, Benjamin White, Aaron Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, these kind of players, because when they joined the club, we weren't doing what we was doing really. So it's nice to see that they've been rewarded for their little part in our success. And it's nice to see that we've got some defensive options for years to come. Saliba and Gabriel, one of the best defensive partnerships in the Premier League, probably the best and one of the best in Europe. Obviously, we've got Zinchenko. Say what you want about him. He's a decent player. Tomiyasu can play all about the place. Timber's just signed for the club, and when he's fit, he'll be doing his thing. Kyrgios showing that he can play at left back and be in a traditional sense, and hopefully he can keep doing his thing so that he can provide competition or deputize at that left hand side of the centre back pairing. And obviously Benjamin White's doing his thing and also recently signed a new deal, so it's nice to see we've got the foundations. There has been points this season though with Tomiyasu and Zinchenko's consistent injuries. As you've seen, Cedric has been our only recognized defender on the bench. Now forgive me, Cedric, but hopefully you're not at the club next season. Probably need one more defensive body. As I say, my first choice would be a Timber Tomiyasu kind of one that is a bit of an army knife in that they can play across the back four. If not, then just bring someone else in. So yeah, shout out Tomiyasu. And you look at the Tomiyasus, the Benjamin Whites, the Gabriels. Declan Rice is just signed for the club, but Declan Rice and people in their kind of mid-20s, Odegaard as well, who's also signed a new deal. Everyone can be a leader. Everybody is a leader, but these are the ones I'm looking at, whether you're a first team regular or whatever, to really set the standard for seasons to come, not just this season or last season. The Jorginhos, the Partey's, great players, but they're not going to be here forever. El Nene, pick him up as well because he's clearly a good lad in the dressing room. So yeah, shout out Tomiyasu. Smash the like button and let me know your thoughts on Tomiyasu. Now, Nottingham Forest have been dot points. They're in a relegation fight. It's looking peak. We've been linked with one of their defenders, people, Murillo, who's 21 years of age. Obviously, I've watched Nottingham Forest. I've watched them quite frequently, but I've never watched them and thought, yeah, he's the guy. I've never taken him in like that, respectfully, So I can't really give you an informed opinion, but defensive body, 21 years of age, Brazilian, I believe. Get it done, really, depending on what Nottingham Forest think. But apparently Nottingham Forest face a battle to keep centre-back Murillo as the club faces a summer of major uncertainty. The City Ground club, who were hit with a 4-point deduction on Monday following breaches of Premier League profit and sustainability rules, having to sell players at the end of the season to ease financial concerns, with their emerging Brazilian defender among the players who look set to exit. I could be lying, but it felt like last summer Nottingham Forest signed a gazillion players, really and truly. Murillo has earned rave reviews since his arrival from Corinthians last summer and is attracting significant domestic and overseas interest, with Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and Newcastle among the Premier League sides monitoring the defender's progress. We need a defensive body. He's 21 years of age. I'm sold then if that's the thing. Obviously, Tavares has gone to Nottingham Forest. Kind of scammed them and we sold them Matt Turner. So there must be a level of, where the directors are concerned, we've got a good rapport with them. And also, I'd imagine the decision's already been made on someone like Nuno Tavares. But if we just had a scout just watching every Nottingham Forest game that Tavares could be part of, or just watching Nottingham Forest games in total just to check up on his progress, then naturally, if they're watching a football where there's 11 players, there might be an informed opinion internally at the club for how good Murillo is. But is there legitimate interest, or is this a case of, them having to sell players? You can make a case of Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Newcastle needing defensive reinforcements. Is it creative journalism? But if you've got those clubs and also Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona interested, again, interest varies to different lengths. Everybody's interested in everyone. Negotiations, putting bids and offers and stuff are a different thing. He must be half decent then, really and truly. He was signed for around 15 million, but Forest can expect to recoup a significant profit if they were to sell the centre half. Forest are at risk of breaching financial rules again next season if they don't sell one of their top players in the summer. I mean, Morgan Gibbs-White will fetch a decent fee, and won't need a strikers decent. I don't think you'll get what Morgan Gibbs-White or Murillo in general could get, but you just never know. So, best of luck to Nottingham Forest fans with that stuff that we're reading. And I don't know if we're really in for Murillo, but bring him if we're concerned, and that convinced where he's concerned. Arsenal reportedly leading the way to sign Sporting striker Victor Gyokeres and are willing to pay his €100 million release clause. I'm not too sure if we're that convinced to spend that, but if we are, then Arteta must have a plan. Allegedly, despite joining last summer, apparently Sporting are working to renew his contract. The main focus is to raise his release clause to a minimum of €120 million. That's obviously to strengthen their negotiating hand and maybe to warn off suitors for him, because where you look at half the teams that are linked to strikers, Gyokeres is on the list. Well, just for Arsenal, Sesko, Gyokeres, Ivan Toney, Osimhen. I'm missing out a number of names, but you get the point. And he's doing his thing over there in Portugal. For what it's worth, he's not paying too much attention from interest from Arsenal or any other clubs. Allegedly, the 25-year-old who has 36 goals in 38 games in all comps for Sporting, which doesn't matter what you think of the player. If you're a striker, especially a new signing, I don't think there's been many signings in world football that have hit the ground running like he currently has. As we know, Arsenal in particular have been heavily linked with making a move for the individual during the summer transfer window. When asked, he said, "It's a sign that I've performed well, but it's not something I take too seriously since it's just speculation. But of course, it's fun. We'll see this summer. It's not something I know about myself. What will happen? I enjoy Sporting extremely well and feel no stress about the summer coming quickly. It's clear that what I have done has attracted attention, but it's not really my focus in everyday life. But of course, it's fun that I have fans who appreciate what I've done." Fair enough. And he's also got 13 assists. As we know, Arsenal are on the market allegedly for a forward. And half the time we're linked with Sporting players. Joshua Zirkzee, another striker who has been linked with Arsenal, Man United, AC Milan, and a bunch of others, will be available for around €75 million, people. I'm not sure if Arsenal are keen to spend that on the 22-year-old Dutchman, but who knows? And as we know, Bayern Munich have a sell-on clause and they have a buyback clause, so that probably weighs into some degree on any potential negotiations that happen with him. Now, apparently Maximilian Bele, I can't say his name, he plays for Hoffenheim. He has 12 goals and 5 assists. Another one I can't tell you about religiously, but the one thing I know is he's got a really high technical level. He's been linked with Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Aston Villa, Spurs, United, West Ham, and Brighton, as well as Leverkusen. Apparently Xabi Alonso's a big admirer of the individual, so he's got to be half decent, people. But apparently, he'll have a release clause of €30 million and it could go to €32.5 million. We all know Arteta isn't leaving, but Ben Jacobs has said Mikel Arteta has no plans to leave Arsenal despite links with Barcelona. Bayern Munich allegedly have joined the race to sign Aaron Ramsdale, according to reports out of Spain. Reports out of Spain about a British player moving to a German club. Football is international and these things can happen, but I'd be a bit wary of such. As we know, Ramsdale's days appear numbered at the football club. Potentially played his last game against Brentford. Who knows if the title race will be decided by the last game of the season against Everton. He might be given, kind of what Xhaka had against Wolves last year. Big up Aaron Ramsdale. We know he's lost his place. Bayern Munich as well as Chelsea continue to be linked with him, and we'll have to see what's going on there. Romano has said, "I want to clarify some things on players who could leave Arsenal this summer. As I reported yesterday, Cedric Suarez is not going to extend his contract at Arsenal. Okay. It's over between the player and the club, and there's not even a conversation to extend it. It's 100% going to be time for them to part ways at the end of this season. Suarez has some possibilities around Europe, and Arsenal are looking at different solutions in that position. The experienced Portuguese fullback will, of course, remain professional to the end of his contract, big him up, and then make a decision on his next move, and he could have a number of options. He's previously previously been linked with Villarreal and all of those sort of things, primarily Turkish clubs. Apparently, nothing is close at the moment. On Aaron Ramsdale, he is another player to watch as he wants to play more. We know Arsenal are going to make David Raya's transfer permanent after his fine performances since joining on loan. So what does this mean for Ramsdale's future? Although the England international has been a fantastic professional this season and has supported his teammates, especially Raya, he wants to play. And at the end of this season, it'll be time for him to look at new solutions. He can't stay at Arsenal on the bench, so we'll explore options around the market to find a new solution. So we wish Ramsdale all the best in that regards. Keeping up the theme with goalkeepers, Karl-Heinz revealed that Arsenal prevented him from going on loan in January. Evidently, we need a third choice goalkeeper. Oh, but you would like to see him play some football. He said there was some interest, but the club didn't let me this time. I need playing time as a young keeper, but right now I need to help Arsenal, and that's my responsibility, and I'm happy to do it. Fair enough, man, and we wish you all the best, whatever you're doing. So, yeah, big him up as well. But, yeah, I'm not really convinced on his abilities as a keeper, but I'm sure he's a great professional, and there's a wealth of experience you can learn from Ramsdale, from Raya, the coaching staff at Arsenal, and obviously being in and around the players, really and truly. So yeah, Arsenal have once again been linked with Isak. People, I'm very pessimistic on our ability to prize him from Newcastle, or just I think there's an admiration. I don't think he's an angle to go for. I would like him at the club. Don't think he's a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, folks. Arsenal most likely suitors for Newcastle's Isak, and he could link up with Odegaard where they play together at Sociedad for a couple of a season or two. I think it was just one. Apparently, he's got a £63 million price tag on his head, which I don't believe really, because he was signed for such, as it says there. Apparently, he could go for as much as 80. I'm not sure if that's what we're going to do, people. It's easy to link Arsenal with strikers, really, because we need one. I've read this before, but apparently Arsenal are keeping tabs on Benjamin Sesko ahead of the summer transfer window, as he's been recommended to Gunners boss Mikel Arteta by the Emirates Stadium scouts on numerous occasions this season, Give Me Sports sources have revealed. And again, he could, he's very raw. Arteta would have to be hands-on, but for 40, 50 million in a day and age where we just saw Gyokeres 100 odd, Tony, we've seen 100 odd, even though I don't think they'll get that in the summer. We all know Osimhen's contract as well. Even if we were to go for Vlahovic, what would Juventus say? He could be a cut price option that has a great future, could be a great option in the present, and allow us to divert resources to every other area that Arteta wants to improve upon. We continuously be linked with Zubimendi. I think he's the one that's been linked with us since probably 20 years ago. Apparently, Arteta has ordered Arsenal to pay his 60 million euros in brackets 51 million pounds release clause to bring him to North London, which we're all for. And this article has also once again said we're keen on Gyokeres, people. But apparently, the Gunners are yet to finalize their decision on who will be their main striker target. I believe, but don't believe that. But I think they already know who they're going for in every position. But it's understood they have been getting information on the cost of a potential deal, which would likely be able to go through at below his 100 million euros release clause, though still at a significant cost, which you'd imagine Sporting want to make a handsome profit on the 20 million they spent. 100 million's a bit mad. Can we do that for anything from 50 to 70 odd add-ons and all of that? I don't know. It is for this reason that Arsenal are considered better placed to sign Gyokeres than other suitors like Borussia Dortmund and AC Milan, who also like the player but don't expect to be able to meet Sporting's demands for him, which is fair enough. Again, people, Arsenal have been linked with several players and whatnot. And this article, again, shameless plug, people, but why would I talk about who could potentially leave Arsenal when at 7 p.m, I believe this time today making this video, so this would have come out before, I've actually gone over that, people. So make sure you've turned on your notifications. So there's no point reading what they're saying here. But I think the key thing is Arsenal already making plans for the transfer window, and both Mikel Arteta and sporting director Edu have a clear vision on what is needed to ensure the club continues its upward trajectory. Music to me and a lot of you Arsenal fans is smash the like button. The Gunners are set to target a top-level forward and a new midfielder as they bid to ensure they continue to compete for the biggest trophies again next season. They'll also target a new defender and are likely to be in the market for a new goalkeeper, which is fair enough, and they're the areas you'd expect Arsenal to. Never seen this player before, but apparently Arsenal are one of the clubs to have asked about information on Hiroji Sudakov. Couldn't give you an informed opinion, but I assume he plays for Shakhtar Donetsk and he's got Champions League experience. Ain't got no. I've obviously watched Shakhtar in the champs, but couldn't tell you anything about this individual. Won't pretend to, but I'd imagine us to be scouting people from all over the world, and where we tried to get Mudryk, if he does play in Mudryk's position or wherever, you'd imagine we're still scouring the Ukrainian market. And Zinchenko, I'm sure, could give a reference on this individual, people. So we'll have to see. Another player that I can't tell you anything about, but apparently, according to Graham Bailey of HITC, Arsenal are keeping close tabs on the progress of 19-year-old FC Michelin forward Franculio Ju. HITC understands with club scouts, hugely impressed with what they've seen. Ajax, PSV, and Dortmund have also watched his development in recent months. I mean, if he's an exciting player, I assume he's a winger, 19 years of age, he ticks the boxes. Everyone's got to start somewhere. So hopefully we're scouting for these unknown names that could be potentially become gems. As an Arsenal fan or as a football fan, of course, you want some household names, especially where, you know, Declan Rice, 105 million. It is kind of nice to sign these players, but I don't care where the players come from, what their profile is, what their rep in football is. As long as they can come to the club and add something in their own way, I don't think anybody cares. Shameless plug, but don't forget at 7 p.m. I'll be making another video for you, little better yet, another video will be coming out. Let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you for all your support, and by God's grace that continues. Let me allow you lot to enjoy what's left of your morning, afternoon, and evening. Peace.